Hi besties, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Rachel and welcome to my June TBR. Can we just take a moment? I cannot believe that it is June. I cannot believe that the year is basically halfway over. That's absolutely terrifying. But to be honest, I am very excited for the month of June because number one, summer starts in June, which is my favorite season. I'm going to be absolutely thriving. I cannot wait for summer. And there's going to be a lot of exciting things happening in the month of June, particularly the Romantasy Readathon Reading Challenge, which was created by Tori at Tori Between Pages. That is a 2-month-long reading challenge, which I will be participating in the months of June and July, and I'm really excited for it. I will have Tori's channel linked down below, and I will also have her announcement video linked down below so you can get all the information from her. But essentially the goal of the reading challenge is to hit all 35 prompts that Tori has selected for us and to read a ton of stunning fantasy romances. I am also going to be co-hosting one of the 48-hour readathons that Tori has organized in the month of June. I think I'm doing the one at the end of June, the weekend of June 28th through June 30th. So if you want to do a little 48-hour readathon with us, once again, the information for all of that will be in Tori's video. But I'm so excited for this reading challenge that Tori created. I feel like Romantasyathon is a very doable, go at your own pace reading challenge, which is really nice, and I can't wait for it to start. So let's get into what I am planning to read in the month of June. I have a pretty stacked TBR, what is new, but I'm just really excited about so many books and I want to challenge myself a little bit in the month of June, and hopefully I can get through most of these. So let's talk about all the books that I will hopefully be reading in the month of June. All right, so the first book on my June TBR is Evocation by S.T. Gibson. I'm so excited about this book. S.T. Gibson wrote A Dowry of Blood, which is one of my all-time favorite books, and this book has a ton of promise and I cannot wait to get back into S.T. Gibson's writing. So this book follows our main character, David. David was like a prodigy psychic when he was younger, but he's now grown up, left all that behind, and is an attorney in Boston. But the devil comes to collect on an ancestral deal. Because of this ancestral deal and the devil coming to collect, David knows that his days are numbered and death is looming at his door. He decides he needs some help, so he enlists the help of his ex-boyfriend and rival Reese, and then also Reese's wife. So the three of them get together and they try to work together because David and Reese used to be in a secret society together. There's like a lot of moving parts going on, but these old lovers and allies team up with the help of Reese's wife and they try to come to a solution when the devil comes knocking at your door. That's quite a problem. I think this sounds so much fun. I love the secret society. I love the New England setting. I'm excited to meet these characters. I think S.T. Gibson has such a way with words, and this book is a very, very highly anticipated read for me, so I hope that I love it. The next book on my June TBR is Curse of the Thorn King by Lisette Marshall. So in this book, we are following an accidental assassin, which I definitely have questions about that, but our main character is sent to go and kill the king of the fairy, but she ends up getting kidnapped by him and is his captive. Now this is an enemies to lovers fantasy romance, so I believe that the two of them are going to fall in love. It sounds like such a good time. I absolutely live for the I'm supposed to kill you but trope, and it sounds like that's what we're going to get in this book. This is also a pretty short book, which is really nice. I absolutely love fantasy romance, but I feel like so many of the books in this genre are like 500 plus pages. It is refreshing to see a shorter book. I think this is around 300. So this is going to be a really great book to read for the Romantasyathon reading challenge, and I think it sounds like a ton of fun. The next book on my June TBR is a book that I am so excited for. I have really high hopes for it. I don't necessarily think it's going to be like a 5-star, but I think it is going to be very, very fun. And that is The Veiled Kingdom by Holly Renee. So in this book, we are following our female main character, and one day she decides to run away from her kingdom, escaping her father's cruelty. Unfortunately, she ends up getting kidnapped by rebels who absolutely hate her father and the monarchy and everything that her and her family represent, but they do not know that they have captured the princess of their enemy. They do tell her though that she either needs to join the rebellion or she's going to die, quite the predicament, but she never reveals her identity. However, the very handsome and vicious leader of the rebels is very suspicious of her and who she is and her true motives. So once again, we have an enemies to lovers fantasy romance here, hidden identity, rebels. I think this book sounds really great, and the reason why I'm so excited for it is I've just seen so many people say it's so good. I've also heard that it's very spicy, which I'm excited for. I think this is going to be a really fun time, the kind of book that I can just read in one sitting. I also am absolutely obsessed with the cover because it is pink. That is my favorite color, so that is adding to the excitement as well. So I really do hope that I love this book. I think that I will. The next book on my June TBR is a book that is not out yet, but I do want to talk about it because I'm very excited, and that is The Mist Thief by L.J. Andrews. I believe that this comes out at the end of the month, and I cannot wait to pick it up. This is going to be the third book in L.J. Andrews' newest series. So the first two books were The Ever King and The Ever Queen, which you guys know I love The Ever King. It was absolutely amazing, and I'm currently reading The Ever Queen right now. And once I finish The Ever Queen, that is the end of Eric and Livia. Those are the two main characters. That is the end of their story, but then we are going to be switching POVs to a new character existing in the same world and following their story. So our new main character in The Mist Thief, his name is Jonas, and we do meet him in the Ever King, and he is amazing. The second he came onto the page in the Ever King, I was like, yep, I need his book. I need to be in his head. He is very funny and sarcastic. He's kind of like this playboy, but also very kind-hearted, and I just absolutely loved his sense of humor. So when I found out that the third book in the series was going to be following him, I was sat. I'm so ready. This is also a marriage of convenience fantasy romance, which I haven't read a ton of those, and I'm really looking forward to it. And once again, I just can't wait to be in Jonas's head because he makes me laugh so much. So really looking forward to this book when it comes out later in June. Another book that is on my June TBR, which is not out yet, is Shadow and Storms by Helen Shorer. This is the finale of the Legends of Thesmar series, and I am so excited, you guys. I really have fallen in love with the series. I think it is so fantastic. It is an enemies to lovers fantasy romance, lots of warriors and training and shadow wraiths, a ton of spice, and wonderful found family. And I cannot believe that we are at the end of this series. I am so excited to see how everything ends. I'm truly going to miss these characters. With each book, I've just fallen more and more in love with them, and I think that the plot is developing in a very interesting way. I just finished the third book, which is the second to last in the series, and it was so great. I absolutely loved it. So it is a little bit bittersweet that I am going to be reading the final book in the series, but I can't wait to see how Helen Shorer wraps everything up. The next book on my June TBR is Thrown in the Dark by A.K. Caggiano. So this is a book that I don't know a ton about, but I saw the cover, I was very intrigued, it's super beautiful, and then I checked the ratings on Goodreads, and the ratings are so good. And this seems like a little bit of a different fantasy romance. I know that there is a humor element to this book, but let me just read some of the synopsis because it sounds so good. So, Damien Maleficus Bloodthorn, what a name. His destiny could be nothing but nefarious, and with the completion of his most vicious spell, Damien is on the cusp of fulfilling the evil inevitability all of his dark machinations have led to. So many big words, oh my god. And then her, bubbly, obnoxious blonde, harboring secrets of her own, a tiny yet troublesome thief calling herself Amma, completely upsets Damien's malevolent plans when she mistakenly gets chained to his side through magic, forcing him to drag her across the realm. Killing her would fix things, of course, but the nauseatingly sweet Amma proves herself useful on Damien's unholy crusade, and then proves herself to be the source of something even more sinister: his feelings. I think that this almost sounds kind of like a rom-com fantasy romance, and I think that that might be super fun. I do have a lot of just like traditional fantasy romances here. I also have some like bigger fantasies here that we're going to talk about in a second on my June TBR, but this just sounds like a good time. I love the idea of our main character accidentally like getting stuck to our other main character and they have to be around each other. Forced proximity, thank you. So I think this book sounds super cute and the cover really got me, so I hope that I like this. The next book on my June TBR is Peaches and Honey by R. Rita. This is a book that has been on my TBR for a while, and it is a book that I'm very much looking forward to. It does have a pretty similar premise to The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. Our main character starts out in the year like 1184, and she ends up making a deal with a dark god, and she lives out her life, and the two of them continually meet up and grow apart, meet up and grow apart, and I assume she's gonna fall in love with him. But I think this sounds really great, and I've heard wonderful things about it, particularly that the writing is really beautiful and lyrical, and the romance is super well done. So I think this will be a really fun book to pick up this month, and especially for Romantasyathon. It's also a little bit on the shorter side, which I always appreciate. All right, the next book on my June TBR is Lady of Starfire by Melissa K. Rorick. This is the finale to the Lady of Darkness series. Once again, cannot believe that I am at the end of this series. I feel like I'm going to be finishing a lot of series in the month of June, which I'm really looking forward to, and I am sad. I'm going to be honest. It is crazy that I am at the end of the series, that I don't have any more books with these characters. I've really fallen in love with them. This is a fantasy romance series that has a very large cast of characters, so many different romances going on, so many different dynamics going on, and a super fun plot. I've grown very attached to them, but I am very much looking forward to reading this finale and seeing how things end. I feel like the series has just gotten better and better, and I definitely think that Melissa K. Rorick knows how to pack an emotional punch, so I'm sure that I will be like crying when I finish this book, but I'm looking forward to it. Also, once I do finish the Lady of Darkness series, that means I can go on to her next series, the Legacy series, the first book being Reign of Shadow and Endings. That's a book I'm really looking forward to, so I'm just working my way through the Melissa K. Rorick literary universe, and I'm loving it. So Lady of Starfire, definitely a high priority book for me in the month of June. I'm really excited to get emotionally destroyed, but then hopefully put back together in the end with a happy ending. All right, the next book on my June TBR I'm super looking forward to, particularly because one of you actually messaged me and was like, hey bestie, I just read this book. I think it was fantastic, and I think you will love it. I love when you guys come into my DMs and you're like, girly pop, I just read an amazing book. I need you to read it. It was fantastic. I get a lot of recommendations from you all, and I'm always so appreciative of it. When I looked into this book after one of you messaged me about it, it sounded really great, and I'm now adding it to my June TBR, and that is A Kingdom of Blood and Magic by Chiara Forestieri. This book sounds really fun, very classic fantasy romance. I've also heard it's very spicy, which I'm looking forward to. So just a quick blurb about this book. A Kingdom of Blood and Magic is a steamy, fated mates romance featuring vampires, fae, Nephilim gods, and more. It is book 1 in the Hallowed Fate series. Tropes include enemies to lovers, fated mates, forced proximity, captivity, one horse, one bed, found family, all the banter, all the angst, lots of spice, touch her and you die, morally gray anti-hero male main character, morally gray anti-hero female main character. I absolutely love that. Oh my god. And female warrior assassin. It has a little bit of everything. I also love the amount of creatures that it sounds like we have in this book. Fae, vampires, Nephilim, gods. That is always such a green flag to me when a series has a bunch of different characters, because I feel like it just lends itself to really expansive world building and a lot to explore. I think this book sounds really great, and one of you guys absolutely loved it, so I'm 100% going to read this in the month of June, and I'm super excited about it. Okay, so slightly switching gears here with the next book that I want to talk about. I've decided my vibe for this summer is going to be fantasy romance, of course, but then also like epic high fantasy. I have quite a few epic and high fantasies on my TBR that I really want to get to this summer, particularly The Name of the Wind. I want to finish the Mistborn trilogy. I want to read The Way of Kings. I want to read Empire of the Vampire. I want to read The Sword of Kaigen. The list goes on and on. So I've decided to add an epic high fantasy to my June TBR, and that is The Will of the Many by James Islington. I have seen such incredible praise for this book, and it has me really excited. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know much about it, but what I do know does intrigue me. Number one, there are Roman Empire influences, which I think is endlessly fascinating, and there is an academic setting, which I always love in any genre of any book. An academic setting always gets me really excited. I've also seen some other creators whose fantasy opinions I just completely trust, giving this book 5 stars and saying it was absolutely incredible. So I'm going into this book pretty blind, but I'm looking forward to it. I have not read a book by James Islington. I know that he has another trilogy called the Lycanis trilogy. I don't know if I'm gonna pick that up, but I'm gonna start with this and see what I think. I'm really looking forward to it. I really hope it's gonna be a 5 star. Okay, sidebar. I have only given out 4 5-star ratings this year. And at the time of this recording, I've read 50 books. Only 4 of them are 5 stars, you guys. I've given out a lot of 4-star ratings, and I think that's because I do know my taste, I do know what I like, and that's all great, but I have not had as many stunning and obsessed moments that I would hope to. So this summer, we are going for 5 stars. I'm hopeful that The Will of the Many will be a 5 star. I'm hopeful that like any of these books that I talked about will be 5 stars. I just need to say that. I'm having a good reading year because I'm getting a lot of 4 stars, and generally I'm enjoying what I'm reading, but I want to be just like absolutely gagged and obsessed and just screaming, crying, throwing up about the amount of 5-star reads that I have. But unfortunately I only have 4, and they were all fantastic. But yeah, I don't know, I'm kind of going off on a tangent at this point, but I need more 5-star reads. I'm hopeful that The Will of the Many will be a 5-star read for me, just because I feel like everyone's been giving it 5 stars, and I hope that I will be a part of that club. But please send me all the 5-star vibes, because this summer we need to fix the 5-star situation. I want to have like 10 5 stars by the end of the summer. I don't know if that's realistic, but we're gonna try. All right, the next book on my June TBR is once again not a fantasy romance. I wanted to have a few books on my June TBR that were not fan ros, just so I could have a few palette cleansers, and this is a book that I'm really excited about, heard great things, and I want to give it a shot. So that is On the Same Page by Haley Cass. Number 1, the cover. She is stunning, she is everything. This is a sapphic romance, and I believe it's friends to lovers. I've not read a sapphic friends to lovers romance. They're usually enemies to lovers, but I love a friends to lovers romance, especially in contemporary, and I think that this book just sounds super cute, super fun. I'm really looking forward to it. Once again, heard the spice is top tier. We absolutely love that. So I hope that I love this book as much as I've seen so many others loving it. All right, now diving right back into fantasy romance, the next book on my June TBR is Till Death by Miranda Lynn. So this is actually a standalone fantasy romance. The series as a whole is going to be a bunch of interconnected standalones, and this is book 1. And the way that this book has been marketed was very intriguing to me. I have been told that it is similar to Stephanie Garber's Caraval series and also Carrie Maniscalco's Kingdom of the Wicked series, but just more adult and spicier. And now here's the thing. I was not the biggest fan of the Kingdom of the Wicked series. However, I do think that like the general vibe of that series is cool. And then Caraval, I've read just the first book in that series and I enjoyed it, but I love the world that Stephanie Garber creates. So once again, if we're going based off vibe and like aesthetic, take those 2 series, make them more adult, make them spicier. I'm there, I'm interested. And I've just seen a lot of the fanro girlies that I follow on Instagram talking about this one. Also love a standalone fantasy romance. That is something that I don't see too often. So I just want to give this book a shot. I was intrigued by the marketing. The cover is really gorgeous. I think that this is going to be really fun. All right, and then the final 2 books on my June TBR, I am delusional, but we're going to talk about them. We're going to be hopeful. We're going to be optimistic. So first of all, this is a carryover from May, the Book of Azriel. I have not got to this book yet at the time that I'm filming this, and it's the end of May, so I'm not going to be able to finish it, but I unfortunately fell into a bit of a reading slump in the month of May, and the Book of Azriel was a casualty of that. I did not end up picking this book up, but I really do want to pick this up. I have read this before, but I need to reread it because I don't remember a lot of the details, and this is a very detail-oriented book. Very intricate world building, very intricate characters, dynamics, all of that. So I want to give this book another read. And then if I can, I would like to pick up The Throne of Broken Gods, which is the sequel. I'm rereading this book because I really want to get to this second book, and the third book actually just came out. So I want to get caught up on this series. The series has a ton of fans and a ton of love. I liked the first book. It was good, but I need to refresh myself and get into it. And I've heard that the sequel is a very, very great follow-up to the first book. So this is Delusion, but we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. I am hopefully going to read this book. I do have the audio for this book, so I can definitely listen to this and hopefully get it read in a good amount of time. And then I can pick up book 2, and I'm really excited to see how things happened. I do remember the ending of this book being really crazy and definitely putting our characters in a position of what are we going to do now? And I'm curious to see that kind of play out in book 2. So I will hopefully read both of these books in June. I don't know. I'll see you guys at my June wrap up and we'll figure that out. All right, friends, so that is going to be it for my June TBR. So please let me know down in the comments below, what are your top reads for the month of June? Also, let me know if you're going to be participating in the Romantasyathon reading challenge. Once again, please make sure to go check out Tori's video and then also check out her channel. She is another fan row queen. She is my fan row twin. If you enjoy my content, you will absolutely love hers as well. So definitely go check her out. If you made it to this point in the video and you wanted to let me know, go ahead and leave just any pink emoji. We have a lot of pink books. That seems to be a theme for me for the month of June. So leave any of the pink emojis, and please make sure that you're following me on Instagram and Goodreads. They are always linked down below. And I really appreciate that you watched this video. I hope that you're having a fantastic day. I love you all so, so much, and I will catch you guys in the next one.